Once again, my name is Kellen. I'm going to be facilitating in person today, along with Emily Alvarez, who will be facilitating online. And we're also joined by Ryan Melendez with Napa County, who's going to help me as well. So today's BayREN forum topic, building resilience, keeping the lights on in an all-electric future. So I'm going to go through the intro slides here. What is BayREN? So BayREN stands for the Bay Area Regional Energy Network. There are multiple RENs or regional energy networks in the state. It's a group of the 9, BayREN is a group of the 9 Bay Area counties coordinated out of MTC ABAG. And our mission is to improve our building stock, energy efficiency, promoting energy efficient buildings, reducing carbon emissions, and building government capacity. There are multiple BayREN programs. We have a single family program, green labeling, a multifamily program, BayREN business, which we're just starting up with, water upgrade saves, and codes and standards, which is the program that puts on these regional energy policy forums. Codes and standards, we have 2 broad efforts for our CNS program, as we call it. Compliance improvement. So the main mission there is helping our local jurisdictions with the energy code, and policy, which is what we're doing today, is we're sharing best practices, programs, and hopefully, building that government capacity so that we can share lessons learned and do a better job with the energy code and energy efficiency in general. We offer energy code trainings with the CNS program. There are free in person or live and online. Talk to your BayREN rep in your jurisdiction if you're interested in bringing a training to one of your building departments. We'll do those introductions in a second here. And then we also have on-demand trainings where you can tune in and watch whenever you have free time. I just want to shout out the ZNC Technical Assistance Program, which is part of the Codes and Standards program as well. So that is for helping municipal buildings achieve zero net energy or zero net carbon in the planning process. So just quick, I'm sure everybody is very familiar with Zoom at this point, but just quick how-tos on today's meeting. Video cameras are not needed. Please use the chat feature to interact with panelists and other participants. And if you have specific questions, please put that in the Q&A. The panelists can, type in answers as they're not presenting. Also, we take those and kind of, aggregate them if there's a lot of similar questions so we can make the Q&A flow a little bit better. So please use the Q&A for questions. And we will break for questions at the end of each session. And just a little bit more on the Zoom how-tos. There's the chat button, there's a Q&A, and there's the raise hand. Okay, quick mandatory disclaimer. The views expressed in these presentations are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the position of the Association of Bay Area Governments, the Bay Area Regional Energy Network, or the jurisdictions that BayREN represents. Any questions pertaining to the views and information of these presentations should be directed to the authors. All right. We will be sending out presentations and materials at the end. We always get questions about that. Yes, and we're recording this, so you can always tune in later if you miss something. Here is today's agenda. And now we're going to go to the BayREN County reps, and I'm going to bring up Ryan to help me with this one. Let's try out the Q&A, see if that works over there.
Can you hear me? Oh. All right. Cool. So I'll ask first the Napa or the BayREN County reps that are in the room to come on up. We'll get started kind of introducing everyone and opening up the discussion with a question that we ask all the BayREN County reps. In particular, today's topic is on building resiliency. So we asked our BayREN County reps, what is the main resilience challenge in your county and how is it currently being addressed? So I'll kick it off. In Napa County, the first thing that pops to my mind is fire. kind of hand in hand with smoke as well. But currently, we're all experiencing smoke in the Bay Area, and currently in Napa County, we have fuel thinning efforts that are ongoing, including chipping, understory clearing, and more. And during emergencies, we try to tackle those with emergency alerts and warning systems, radio emergencies, when critical communication methods are down, and we work on a lot on individual preparedness. So the rest of the BayREN County reps can introduce themselves and answer that question.
Thanks, Ryan. Morning, I'm Barry Hooper with the San Francisco Environment Department. And just a quick note, if we're looking for some great questions from our in-person audience and participants, and if you come up here and you have a question, please stand right in front of the podium, and we're going to make sure the camera's on, that's so that the online audience can tell that you're there, and it helps with just the flow of the meeting. So just right here, don't be bashful. And you want to be looking for a green light on the mic. I'll be turning that on, but if you don't see it, definitely flip the switch. In terms of resilience challenge, there are many, of course, but the primary one that we tend to focus on in San Francisco is seismic safety, as the densest city on the West Coast and located directly on fault lines. And that relates, we address that by convening on a regular basis a Lifeline Council, where the city engages with all of the utilities and disaster response agencies that serve San Francisco. And it relates to today that, of course, one of those participants is PG&E. And so we, in the context of electrification and building decarbonization, a really relevant data point that has come out of that seismic safety planning is that, it's essentially inevitable that we'll experience a major earthquake again in San Francisco. And at a level of 7.0 or greater, it's PG&E's estimate that it would take approximately 6 months to fully restore gas distribution through the entire city, and approximately 6 days to achieve restoration of electric service in 95% of the city. So for us, electricity is the more resilient electricity supply source. With that, I'll pass it to you, Kellen.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead for Marin County, and then I'll hand it over to Emily to facilitate the BayREN reps that are online. And also just a reminder to everybody, we want to get started with Dave's presentation in about 5 minutes. So for Marin County, our major resilience issues and efforts are around power outages. So even before, all these fires and PSPS events with PG&E, especially in the rural parts of the county, West Marin, that is a major ongoing concern, even to where it's just a kind of a fact of life out there that, I'm going to be without power for sometimes. So what the county's doing is looking into microgrids and better communication with PG&E to kind of, get that infrastructure up to date. I'm going to leave it there and pass it off to Emily.
Yeah, hi everyone. Emily Alvarez. I'm a program manager with Stop Waste, which is the Alameda County representative of BayREN. Alameda County has a pretty old housing stock in comparison to some other Bay Area counties. Also typically had a more kind of cool climate. So most of our homes don't have central air conditioning. However, we know that as climate change causes more extreme heat events, which we're already experiencing, the need for air conditioning is growing. However, we need to figure out how to add that cooling load without stressing out the grid, because air conditioning during a heat wave when there's no power is not really resilient. So we want to make sure that that air conditioning, that cooling load is preferably heat pumps, since they use so much less energy, and is also coupled with building shell measures to prevent that cool air from leaking out. Also, on days like today, you don't want that wildfire smoke coming in. And then I'll go over to Alero from San Mateo County.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So with climate change on the rise, our coastside and bayside residents have been impacted in different ways. Our coastside experienced some major flooding this year. with the many storms that we had in the beginning of the year, and many residents on the coast went days without power and are more prone to having PSPS events. Our coastside community also is greatly impacted by sea level rise and wildfires. And wildfire smoke. Actually, our team is in Half Moon Bay today. We were supposed to go on a hike this morning, but can't do the hike because it's too smoky. And our Bayside residents are increasingly being impacted by high heat days. The county has an independent government agency made up of the San Mateo County Flood and Sea Level Rise Resilience District called One Shoreline that addresses flooding and sea level rise. And our county small business program is working with a local community-based organization called El Concilio to address high heat days. And the county's East Palo Alto Library, I believe, is participating in BayREN's Resilient Library Network pilot, which I believe you guys will hear a little bit more about later today.
All right, how about Damien with Contra Costa? I think you're still muted, Damien. We had to have it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, of course. Hi, everyone. Damien Hardman Saldana with Contra Costa County. One of our major concerns is health impacts when it comes to climate change. In particularly, 27% of our residents live in a census tract where they're in the 95 percentile with asthma emergency department visits. And that's a major concern for us. It's been something we've been trying to work on. So we're looking at strategies to address climate change to reduce asthma impacts. And that's, particularly an issue like today when there's bad air quality in certain parts of the Bay Area where we need to try to help mitigate asthma. So we're looking at strategies to improve air quality inside the built environment for a lot of our residents, particularly our vulnerable populations, such as our elderly and our children. Thank you for being here today, and we're excited for this presentation that's coming up.
Christine Condon from Sonoma.
Good morning. My name is Christine Condon. I'm an energy and sustainability analyst with the County of Sonoma. And in Sonoma County, resilience challenges vary seasonally, where in the winter we're faced with flooding, mudslides, road closures, things like that, and freeze events. And in the summer and fall, wildfire smoke events and extreme heat events have become a lot more common. And direct wildfire in the summer and fall have also been frequent challenges over the last several years. Power outages related to these events heavily impact county residents, and occupants of older, leaky, and uninsulated buildings without air conditioning are particularly vulnerable. One of the ways the county is addressing these challenges is by making public warming, cooling, charging centers available that are geographically spread out throughout the county that remain powered during outages. And in our division, we're the Climate Action and Resiliency Division, our team delivers educational programs about the importance of air sealing and other building envelope upgrades, along with education about rebates and financing for energy efficiency and resiliency upgrades, including heat pumps. So thank you.
Okay, and last, I believe we have Gilly from the County of Santa Clara.
Excellent. I love it because everyone's already said so many wonderful things. And I will add filling in for Tanya Beach, who's actually the rep for Santa Clara County, but I'm Gilly Corral, Sustainability Manager. I'll say all of the above. I also say flooding and heat are really top of mind for the County of Santa Clara at this time, and our office coordinates efforts with other jurisdictions, agencies, nonprofits, and CBOs on resiliency planning, primarily through the Santa Clara County Climate Collaborative. And the collaborative has theme-based work groups, and two of those are the heat and air quality work group and a sea level rise and flooding work group. So that's one of our primary means of coordinating locally on those two issues. We, of course, also support wildfire resilience efforts in partnership with nonprofits and partners such as County Fire and Mid-Penn Open Space. And I too am very much looking forward to this forum. Thank you.
And I'll just note also that thanks everyone for your answers, that our Solano County Rep Nandi Loggins Glover could not be here today, but if you are from Solano County, take down her email address and you can follow up with her with any questions you have about BayREN after the forum.
Thanks, Emily. Thanks, everybody. And last but not least, we're going to hand it over to Karen Christensen.
Thanks, Kellen. I'm not going to add more on the resilience front. I think we've heard from the whole Bay Area, so thank you all very much. But I did want to add a couple quick logistics, just for folks who actually made the trek into the room despite the air quality. Thank you very much. There's food and drink in the back, and the bathrooms are out the door to your right. The questions that we always get online, just to reiterate, we've already been said, but if you joined a little late, we will have recordings and presentations that will be available in about a week. Everyone will get copies of those. And please use the Q&A for your questions, and the chat is for chatting, but not the questions. So thank you very much, and let's get going.
And Karen is the program lead for Codes and Standards, by the way.
Oops, sorry, forgot.
No, well, maybe. Okay. Thanks, everybody. So we're going to get into our presentations now with Dave Judici, who is, why is it not advancing? There we go. Who's a chief building official with Napa County. We are always happy to get the perspective of chief building officials from local jurisdictions. And I'll keep the intro short so we can hear from Dave. So Dave, when you're ready, please turn your camera on and unmute.